Well, it's almost the start of the school year, but a lot of team sports are already starting to pick back up. I know my son just began his cross-country practice. But let's talk about sports physicals. First of all, played sports my whole life. Never knew there was such a thing, but it is, and it could go a very long way in helping evaluate your child to make sure they can safely participate in those sporting activities. And joining me now here in Studio 61, Dr. Emily Zheng, a pediatrician with Pro Health Physicians in Vernon. Doctor, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I am excited to learn right along with everybody else because I did not know there was such a thing as a sports-specific physical. Sorry, it's Friday. I can't speak well.
That's all right.
But the more I think about it, the more I feel like it makes sense. But why don't you tell us what the differences are?
Yeah, so a sports physical doesn't have to be all that different from a routine annual checkup at a pediatrician's office.
Yeah.
The only thing is that there are a few additional components, like assessing more of the neuromusculature system, the musculoskeletal or cardiac and respiratory systems to make sure that the kids can play a sport safely and happily.
Right, and these would be things, you know, I guess testing out joints, these things like that. How does it work? How do doctors look at that?
So we want to get more of a thorough history from the patient, whether they've suffered from concussions in the past, or if there's a family history of cardiac heart problems, or if the patient suffers from any laxity in the joints. We want to make sure that they don't get any fractures or any injuries when they're playing sports.
When you find those sort of problems, let's just deal with like musculoskeletal first, because I do want to ask about heart in a second. When you find some of those problems, the laxity, is there anything that can be done about that?
Yeah, certainly. I've had patients at Pro Health that I refer to physical therapy to help strengthen their muscles, their soft tissue around the joints, so that it helps them avoid getting injuries. And then if need be, if it's more serious, then I would refer them to orthopedics.
Okay. What can you detect in terms of the cardiovascular system? I know when you're a parent of a kid, we get these news stories every now and then of somebody who finds after a fainting spell that, oh, there's a problem with their heart that you would not have known to look for. How many of those can you sort of detect ahead of time?
So sometimes it can be a little bit hard because I feel like more of the cardiac conditions will show up in times of stress or with extraneous, physical activity. And so listening, taking a long time to listen to the heart, feel the pulses, that's really important in the office. And then it's more just the anticipatory guidance about things to look for in case something develops that is outside the office that the kids and parents and teachers and coaches can know what to do about.
Lastly, if a parent wants a sports physical for their child, A, how do they go about arranging one at Pro Health Physicians? And B, will that also encompass everything you would normally get in just a regular physical? Like, can it just be one and done with a sports physical?
Yes, it's very easy to schedule for the same visit. It just entails letting the provider know that you're here for a sports physical as well, so that we know exactly what more anticipatory guidance we need to provide.
Oh, one last question. How sports specific are those physicals? Like, would you need to say, my child is a baseball player? Or if they play 3 or 4 sports, is it important to make sure the doctor knows all of those sports?
Yeah, I don't think it's less sports specific than it's important for us to know whether it's a contact sport or if it's an individual sport and not involving a lot of contact.
Yes, especially when you're looking at concussion protocols and things like that. Well, Dr. Zheng, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. A pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, again, Dr. Zheng with Pro Health Physicians in Vernon.